Every time you sit down to focus, something inside resists. A notification, a wandering thought, a sudden urge to do anything except the task in front of you. Hours pass, and instead of progress, you feel empty. What if I told you this exact struggle, this fight with the restless mind, was described thousands of years ago? On the battlefield of Kurukshetra, Arjuna, the greatest warrior of his time, collapsed, not because of fear of arrows, but because of chaos in his own thoughts. And Krishna gave him a formula for clarity and focus so timeless that modern psychology is only now catching up. In this video, I'll share 7 powerful lessons from the Bhagavad Gita on mastering focus. Each one comes alive with a story, insights from modern science, and a practical way you can apply it right now. What distracts you the most? Phone, overthinking, or procrastination? The Gita doesn't begin with swords clashing. It begins with Arjuna paralyzed, weapons slipping from his hand. His real enemy wasn't outside, it was inside, the restless, flickering mind. Krishna points out that until you win the inner battle, the outer one cannot even begin. Someone sits down to study, but within minutes is scrolling through feeds. They close the app, feel guilty, and then reopen it. The war isn't between them and the phone. The war is between intention and impulse. This is the first lesson. The battlefield is always within. Modern neuroscience confirms this. The brain's default mode network constantly pulls us into worry, memory, and distraction. Recognizing this fact shifts the blame away from "I'm lazy" to "I'm human." Awareness itself is the first weapon. What's your current battlefield? Studies, work, or self-discipline? Drop one word in the comments. Krishna doesn't say, control your mind once and for all. He says, from wherever the mind wanders, bring it back. Focus isn't about perfection, it's about practice. A learner begins meditation. The first attempt is chaos. The mind wanders every 30 seconds. But instead of quitting, they keep pulling it back. Over weeks, the gaps between distractions grow longer. What looked like failure was actually training. Every return of attention is like a rep in the mental gym. Neuroscience shows that these returns strengthen neural circuits in the prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain responsible for focus. The goal is not to eliminate wandering, it's to shorten the gap between wandering and returning. That's how resilience is built. When you lose focus, do you usually feel guilty, frustrated, or do you just move on? Krishna tells Arjuna, you have control over your action, but never over its results. Attachment to outcomes is poison to focus. A person prepares for an important exam. Instead of concentrating on a material, they constantly imagine the rank list, the competition, and what others will think. The pressure grows so heavy that they can barely study. When they finally shift their energy to showing up daily, without obsessing over results, their performance naturally improves. Psychologists call this flow, being completely immersed in the process. Flow happens only when you stop worrying about outcomes. Neuroscience shows that when cortisol, the stress hormone, spikes, focus collapses. Krishna's detachment removes that pressure, freeing you to perform at your best. Which weighs on you more, fear of failing or pressure to succeed? Krishna says, the mind can be your friend or your enemy. The key is realizing you are not your thoughts. You are the observer of them. Right before beginning a task, the thought arises. Check your phone, just for a minute. Instead of obeying, the person pauses, labels it distraction, and lets it pass. By observing instead of acting, they regain control. This is meta-awareness. Neuroscience shows that labeling thoughts reduces their emotional grip. Instead of being dragged by every impulse, you stand above them. Freedom begins the moment you watch the thought without becoming it. If your most common distracting thought had a funny nickname, what would you call it? Krishna emphasizes balance. Not too much, not too little. Sleep, food, work, rest, all in rhythm. The modern translation: don't wait for motivation, build rituals. A person always struggled to get started with studying. One day, they light a candle, open a journal, and breathe deeply for 2 minutes before beginning. Over time, their brain associates the candle and breath with focus mode. Even on days with no motivation, the ritual carries them. Motivation rises and falls. Rituals create automatic cues for the brain. Neuroscience shows that habits are stored in the basal ganglia. Once anchored, they run on autopilot. Rituals make focus consistent, even when mood is inconsistent. What's one ritual you already do? Tea, journaling, music. That could become your focus trigger. Krishna frames duty as steps, not burdens. Modern twist. Stop seeing work as endless tasks. See them as quests. Someone stares at a massive project and feels overwhelmed. Instead of quitting, they divide it into levels. Outline equals level 1. First draft equals level 2. Revision equals boss fight. Each level cleared gives energy to continue. Games hook us because of progress markers. Dopamine spikes when we see small wins. Turning tasks into quests taps into this same reward system. Instead of feeling crushed, you feel pulled forward. If today was a video game, what's your level 1 quest? Krishna defines yoga as balance, being steady in success and failure. Focus isn't extreme grind, it's sustainable rhythm. Someone overworks for weeks, then crashes into burnout. Later, they learn to balance intense sprints with recovery breaks. Their overall output doubles, not by working more, but by working rhythmically. Overwork floods the body with cortisol. Procrastination floods it with guilt. Both ruin clarity. Balance is not laziness, it's longevity. Psychology confirms. The most productive performers are those who oscillate between effort and recovery. Do you lean more toward overworking or procrastinating? Summary of 7 lessons. The battlefield is within. Focus is built like reps. Detachment frees flow. You are the observer, not your thoughts. Rituals are stronger than motivation. Tasks feel lighter as quests. Balance sustains power. Arjuna began paralyzed, weapons slipping from his hands. What changed? Not the war, but his focus. He rose with clarity because Krishna gave him a framework to master his mind. And that same framework is waiting for us today, in front of our own battlefields of distraction. Which one will you try first? Reps, detach, observe, ritual, quest, or balance? If this video helped you feel a little clearer or calmer, share it with someone who could use it too. Krishna's wisdom isn't just an ancient story. It's a guide for anyone trying to navigate life, focus their mind, and live with purpose today.